Hi, I'm Margaret Gilley, and I am so excited to be here today. I want to show you there at home just exactly how to use our butterfly ladder. We have a new and exciting product that creates the most beautiful window treatments. And here today we want to show you a lot of the different designs that we've done. We have a shower curtain design, over the bed, a very elegant look with palladium windows, the fluffy balloon type effect that we have over the shears, and we're so excited to show you exactly how to use the ladder because anyone can use it and you can create all these different designs. You can use the ladder in every room of your home and make every room look different just simply by the way you pull your fabric through and the fabric that you use. And today we're going to show you exactly how to do a window. We have a window over here that we're going to design for you, and I'm going to go over and measure for you. Now we're going to measure our window to see exactly how much fabric we need for the particular look that we're going to do. And today I'm going to do a treatment that comes to the window sill on one side and all the way to the floor on the other side to show you the versatility of our ladder, to give you a different look if you want that. You can do every room in your home and have a totally different look in every room of your home. We're going to start at the floor, measure up one side of the window all the way to the top. This will give us approximately 4 feet on one side. Then we go across the top of the window, and we're going to use the full length of our ladder, so we have 3 feet at the top. That's 7.5 feet. And then we're going to come down the side, and we're going to measure only to the bottom of the windowsill because that's how far we want this side of our treatment to come. We're going to allow approximately 1 yard for each corner, depending on the look that we want to do, so that we can play with it a little bit. If we want it to look real plain and simple, then we can do that. If we want to add a little bit of knots to it, we can do that. So I'm going to allow 1 yard extra. I always like to have just a little bit of extra fabric so I know exactly that I can make the treatment that I want. We also allow a little bit of extra yardage for the hemline so that you can turn it under, press on hemming tape or fabric glue, or you can puddle it down on the floor. Now before I go over to the table and show you exactly how to use our butterfly ladder, I want you to take a good look at the very plain window that we have in front of us, and we're going to transform this into a beautiful decorator style window. Now we're going to come back over to the table and we're going to measure our fabric for our window, and I've purchased a whole bolt of material simply because you usually do 2 or 3 windows in a room, and you use the same fabric, and so I buy it all on one bolt so that I can save fabric that way and then just cut each window treatment as I determine what kind of a look I'm going to do and how much fabric I'm going to need. So we're going to use approximately 5.5 yards, and I'm going to cut this 6 yards long because I always like to have a little extra. It can always give you a little more fullness wherever you need it, and you always have plenty that way. This is 1 yard. You can lay your fabric out on the dining room table or even on the floor. If you like to work in the floor, you can stretch your fabric out there and work with your window treatment. You can do your whole window treatment on the table or on the floor, and then all you have to do is simply hang it up on the window. We have 1 yard. Measure for 2. We have 5 yards. It's so much fun to work with the fabric because it's just a plain strip of fabric. You don't ever have to do anything to it. You don't have to sew a stitch. You don't have to do anything to the selvage edges. All you need is your strip of fabric. Now we have 6 yards of material, and before you cut your fabric, you might want to double check just to make sure that you have enough fabric. If you're a little nervous about that, then put a little straight pin right here. Go back, remeasure your window, remeasure your fabric, make sure you have plenty. Allow just a little extra for any little extra poofs that you might want to do. So all you do is cut your fabric. You can use any width, any weight of fabric that you want to for your particular look. Another thing, you're not tied in to drapery materials. You're not tied into drapery designs. You go into a fabric store, you pick out a fabric that you like, and you can make a window treatment out of it. It doesn't have to be any particular width or weight. And once you've cut your fabric, then you just lay this excess to the side. And we're going to start with our window treatment. Okay, before we start now, we're going to go back to the window and we're going to put up our cup hooks. We've purchased some little extended hooks. You can use any kind of a hook you want. You can purchase these at any hardware store for very minimum charge. You get a whole package, so you can do all the windows in your house. You can use the little regular cup hooks that you hang a coffee cup on, or you can get the hooks that have a longer neck if you want it to project out further away from the wall. You may be putting your window treatment over vertical blinds or draw drapes, and if so, you would get hooks that had a longer neck so that it would extend out as far as you want it to. But for this particular look, we got shorter hooks, and I'm going to go over to the window now and put those up. And you can do this yourself. You don't have to have your husband mount all the brackets and all of that. He can watch the football game, he can go golfing, whatever. You can do your own window treatments because all you have to do, the only installation there is to screw a cup hook into the window. So we can do that. Now all we're going to do is put our cup hooks in the top of our window. We've already determined how high we want the window treatment to be. Another great thing about using the butterfly ladder is the fact that you can make tall windows appear shorter. You can make wide windows appear more narrow. So you can change the look around in your room just simply by where you place your hooks. Okay, now remember, all you need is just a small cup hook. You can get these at any hardware store, and you just screw that in the top of your window at any place that you want your window treatment to hang. And this is the only installation that there is. So whenever you move, you're going to simply pick your ladder up with the fabric in it, and you're going to take it with you. You can always get another little package of cup hooks. They're the only thing that's attached to your window. The ladder is not attached. I'm going to hang a ladder up here that we haven't used simply to show you exactly how to hang your ladder. And this will hang right here on the center of your ladder, on the center of your window. The little inserts that we have in the ladder allow your ladder to hang on the cup hook. And if you need added support, if you're using a heavier fabric or two kinds of fabrics, then the ladder will hang heavier. It will not bend this way, but to give you added support, you can put a hook right here in the center to give added support for your ladder. Now we're going to take this ladder off so we can go over to the table and make our window treatment. Now you may have noticed how easy it was to hang and how easy it was to remove. So you don't have an excuse for not washing your windows anymore. When you take the ladder down, lay it to the side, clean your windows, and hang it back up. So it's very easy. We're going to take this butterfly ladder and we're going to create a beautiful window treatment just by using a simple piece of material and a simple piece of fabric. We're going to create a beautiful window treatment. All you do is take one end of your fabric, and I'm just going to kind of gather it in from the outside edges just to kind of give it a little bit of pleating here. And then you take your ladder, and to do the treatment that we're going to do on the particular window that I'm working with, you drop one end of your fabric through the next to the last loop on the top row of rings. You push your fabric right through the next to the last loop, and you pull that fabric all the way through. We're just going to do a simple swag treatment with very plain straight lines so that you can use this in any room of the home. Any kind of fabric that you use is going to make it look totally different, so you can use this in any room of the house or a man's office, anywhere you want to use it. And we're going to pull, this is the side that's going to come all the way to the floor. So we're going to pull this fabric all the way through. And I just keep the front side of the fabric to the front side of the ladder because we're going to take the other end of the material, just gather it up from the outside edges, just gather it together, and you just thread it through the next to the last loop on the top of the ladder and pull that end through. And pull this one out just as far as you want it to come. Now this side we want to come down to the window sill, the other side we want to come all the way down to the floor. And I just simply turn my edges under, pull this all the way through where it's straight across the top of your ladder, and turn the selvage edges under so that they don't show. And this is just going to automatically pleat itself. Okay, now what we've done is taken one end of our fabric and put it through the next to the last loop on this end of the ladder. We've taken the other end of the fabric and put it through the next to the last loop on this end of the ladder. And then we use the ladder as a support for the fabric. And then on this end that we're going to make come only to the window sill, I'm going to make like a little small knot here. And all you do is push your fabric through the top loop, pull your fabric through, and then you just simply bring your fabric over the top of the ladder, and we're going to push the end of it. We're going to take the end of the fabric and we're just going to push it right down through the loop that we pushed through and pull it down. Pull this down tight so that you have a little knot right here in the corner. We're going to make two different looks on this particular window treatment so that you can see that you can be very versatile. You don't have to do what everybody else does. You have your own decorator windows and you're the decorator. So your room and your homes are going to look very unique because no two people pull the fabric through the exact same way, but it looks beautiful every time. And what is so great about it is if you don't particularly like a look that you've done, you haven't sewn and you haven't cut your fabric, so you can pull it down and start all over again if you like. Now all we're going to do is just let this hang down. We're going to have a knot right here on this corner. And then what we're going to do with this side of it, I'm going to pull this back. And what we're going to do with this side of the fabric is simply make a long straight look, which is very, very elegant in a formal living room or dining room. And this will automatically just pleat itself. You can pull this through and it'll just pleat itself and give you the kind of swag that you want. But to get the long straight lines, all you do, your fabric is turned with the wrong side facing you. The right side is facing out to the front part of your window. You simply put your hand in front of the fabric and lay it over the top of the ladder. This will just automatically pleat itself. You just help it out a little bit and lay it the way you want it to look. But your fabric works with you and it will give you a real pretty pleated look, a very elegant pleated look for whatever room you want to use it in. Now we're going to go over and we're going to hang this on the window so that I can straighten it up a little bit on the window. Okay, now we're going to hang our window treatment up and we're going to change this plain looking window into a beautiful creation simply by using the butterfly ladder and a strip of fabric. You're going to quickly see what you can do in just a matter of minutes using your own fabric and the butterfly ladder. I'm going to spread this out so that it will hang and pleat softly down the side of the window. And we're going to have it puddle down on the floor. We're not going to use a hem on this particular look. We're just going to let it puddle down on the floor. And this can be used, this kind of a look can be used in any room of your house. It can be very elegant for a formal living room or dining room using the appropriate fabric. Or you can also use this in a man's office or a boy's bedroom where you don't want a lot of fuss. So all you do is just simply hang it up on the cup hook, spread this out, and now in the center where you have your swag, you can make this swag just as long as you want. You can pull out more fabric. We have a shorter swag here, but you can pull this fabric out. This fabric is 54 inches wide, so you can pull this down and let it swag as far as you want. But always just let your selvage edges just turn on the inside of your pleats, and then just play with this a little. I'm just going to step up here so that I can straighten out the swag and add the finishing touches and get the window treatment exactly like I want it. Remember, you're your own decorator, so then you can do exactly what you want to do, and when your window treatment looks the way you want it to do, then you're finished. So now we've completed our window treatment. We have one side that comes to the window sill, so you can make a shorter version if you like. Go up with a knot, swag across, and come all the way down the side and let it puddle on the floor. This side of the treatment gives you a more elegant look. This gives you a little bit different look for maybe like a boy's bedroom where you don't like a lot of fuss. This can be elegant for a formal living room or dining room or any room of the house. The really great thing about the ladder is the fact that it allows you to be so creative. This is a very simple, easy to do treatment that we've done in just a matter of minutes with a strip of fabric and a butterfly ladder. Now on the side of the window treatment that we come to the window sill, we don't have a finished edge here, but you still don't have to sew a stitch. All you do is turn under the edge of your fabric and you put press-on hemming tape or fabric glue. Now you can do that before you ever start with your fabric if you want, or it's very easy to apply even after you have your window treatment hanging on the wall. You can also take the end of your fabric and you can fold it underneath and tuck it in the little loop right behind, and this gives you a bubble effect for one corner. So you can change your look just by simply pulling the fabric around and pushing it in the ladder a different way. We designed the ladder so that it can be adjusted to fit any size of window that you have in your home. So if this is not the particular size that you need, you can also make it more narrow for the more narrow windows. And all you do is simply use the wire cutters to clip this in half. It's made out of football helmet material, so it's not going to break and it's very durable. But you need to use wire cutters to clip it in half, and we've already done that. You clip it right up through the middle, you overlap the ladder, and you simply adjust it to whatever length that you want for the width of window that you're going to treat. And then all you do is use the cable ties. You get them at the hardware store, any place that you want to pick them up. You can pick up a package of cable ties for a little bit of nothing really. They're so inexpensive. So it's just the little plastic cable ties like we have right here. However, if you have garbage bags at home, they come with some little Ziploc ties in them, and you can also use those. You push your little Ziploc right through the top, and this is going to hold your ladder sturdy. So you just pull this tight. I usually put 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom just to give myself a more durable ladder whenever I'm working with it. Just simply push this through and pull it tight. I have 2 at the top, and I'm going to put 1 down at the bottom for a more sturdy ladder. And you just simply push it right through where the little openings are, push that through, and pull it tight. And you can pull that as tight as it'll go so that it makes it very durable. And you have a more narrow window, a ladder for a more narrow window. And then all I do is just take the little wire cutters and snip that off so that it won't interfere with your fabric. And snip this one off down below. And you have a shorter ladder. So this will fit any size of window that you have that's less than the standard 36-inch ladder that we started with. Now if you have a wider window, you just use additional ladders and you take and overlap them at whatever length you want. You can use 2 or more depending on what kind of a look you want, because you can use this treatment all the way across the side of a room if you want to. But you can adjust these out. 2 of them will do a standard 6-foot patio door. Now if you overlap for an in-between size area, like for a 5-foot window for instance, you overlap, you zip tie this together with the cable ties just like we did the shorter one, but don't cut the loops off down below. They don't show anyway. The fabric comes out and covers it up. And the ladder is so portable that whenever you move, you're going to take them with you, and you may want to put this on 2 separate windows at a later time. So you have 2 ladders now instead of just the 1 long ladder to do 2 separate windows. Now I'd like to show you some additional treatments. You know, every time our mood changes, we like something different. So with a butterfly ladder, we can change our window treatments every time we have a mood change. You can also change out your fabric, or you can use the same fabric that you've been using. But today, right now, I'm going to show you how to do a wrap treatment. So all you do is take your fabric, push it from the back side of the ladder through the top loop. You simply wrap the fabric around this bottom loop so that it doesn't show, and tuck it in. One of our ladies showed us how to do this. She just came up with this idea right off the top of her hat. So you can do that also. You can change your ideas around. And you fold your fabric in half. Instead of spreading it out like we're going to show you here in a minute, you fold your fabric in half so you have more of a pleated look. And then you just simply wrap the ladder. You just lay this over the top, and then just bring it underneath the ladder and back over the top again. I'm just going to roll the ladder inside of the fabric is basically what I'm doing. Just roll it at an angle so that you'll have a pleated look. You know, this just makes a topper for like the top of your vertical blinds, anywhere that you just want a top look. And I just turn the edges of the fabric to the inside each time I turn it so that you don't have a raw edge showing. And you just continue to wrap. Now I'm only going to do about half of this ladder so that you can continue on down your ladder and finish it up. But I'm going to show you on one end how to finish up, and that's how you would finish both of your ends. You can continue to wrap this, and then you just work with it and let it pleat itself. And when you get to the end down here, just pull your fabric out that you've tucked in. Pull out a little bit of that fabric and work with your material just a little bit to get the pleats just the way you want. You may like a more pleated effect, and if you do, that's just real easy to accomplish because all you have to do is pull your fabric and place it just the way you want. So you can have a very padded or a very smooth effect, whichever one you like, for the top of your cornice boards or your vertical blinds or whatever. Just a very smooth, straight line. Now, using the same fabric, we're going to change our look. We're going to use the same strip of fabric, but we're going to do a balloon effect. And all you need to do is lay your fabric down, spread it out, open it up all the way, lay your ladder right in the center of it. Find the center of your ladder, find the center of your fabric, and lay the ladder on it. And then I just reach in and gather up my fabric from the outside edges. Just gather it in. You don't have to worry about pleats or anything like that. You just gather your fabric in from the outside edges and you start pulling it through the top row of rings. You only use the top row of rings. I'll explain about the bottom row of rings in just a moment, but just use the top row of rings. And I start in the middle of the fabric, the middle of the ladder, and then just continue to push it through the loops at the top. And we're going to pull this through. And if you just want to valance, I'm going to show you how to just do a topper for your window. If you don't have any fabric hanging down the side, you don't want any fabric hanging down the side, you can do that. You can just do a topper. And all you do is just reach inside the loops that you've done here and just simply fan these out. They'll just fan themselves. It really does the work for you. So we're going to pull this out, fluff it all the way across. And then when you get to the very end, if you don't want any fabric hanging down the side, you just simply fluff this out all the way, and you take this end of the fabric and cover up that bottom loop right there so that it doesn't show. And then your fabric, if that was the kind of treatment you were going to do, you wouldn't have as much fabric left over right here, and all you would simply do is push that fabric in the hole right next to it, which would give you a finished look. And then you have a finished topper for your doors or for your windows. Now, if you do decide you'd like to have another treatment, then we're just going to pretend that this fabric is a lot longer here, and we're going to turn it to the side, and we're going to push it through this bottom loop right here. And then you just pull it up the same exact way we did all the way across the top, and you pull this out, and this is just going to give you like a valance. We're just going to simply fluff the fabric out here so that you have a little bottom teardrop, and this is just going to fan down over the top of it. And you can have a little fluff to the bottom of your valance if you want. It doesn't have to be just a straight effect. So you can have just a little fluff to it. But we're going to show you how you can take this exact treatment, change the look around, and you don't even have to take your fabric down and start all over again unless you want to. So if you decide one day that, well, I want a little bit of change, I want to add an accent to that, we're going to show you exactly how to do that. Right in the middle of your ladder, we're going to pretend all of this is full of the balloon effect all the way across. And right in the middle of your ladder, you just simply spread this out, and you just kind of flatten these down. Instead of having them quite so fluffy, you just kind of flatten them down a little bit. Spread this out where it makes a bow. Take a contrasting fabric. The neat part about this is that you can change your look around as often as you want to. Take a contrasting strip of fabric, and all I've done is just simply folded it. And right here in the center of this, we're going to simply wrap this around the ladder. Wrap this to the back. So you just pull this as tight as you want here and push it into the holes at the back. So you've covered up your raw edges on your extra fabric. And you have a beautiful designer bow right here in the center of your ladder. And that's just added you a little bit more color. Now when you finish tucking in your ends in the back of your ladder, you can fluff out your bow here on the front just however you want. You can make it flatter, you can make it fluffier. The neat thing that you can do, a little decorator tip for you is to put a little bit of tissue paper or netting fabric inside your bows to make them fuller and fluffier, so that you can do it any way you want. You can have the look, achieve the look that you want to achieve just simply by using a little bit of netting fabric. And that's especially good if you're using a softer fabric that doesn't have any crispness to it or any fullness to it. Now I want to show you how to do a rosette on the end of your ladder. You can use this with a swag treatment or a balloon treatment, either one. It doesn't really make any difference. So whatever treatment that you choose to use, when you get to the very end, you push your fabric through the last loop, and then you simply turn your fabric to the side. And I'm going to give you a real close-up look at this in just a moment, but all you're going to do is push your fabric through the very bottom loop and pull it out just as far as you want. This just depends on the look you want to create. So push your fabric through the top loop, push your fabric through the bottom loop, and the rest of your fabric can just hang down and puddle on the floor. You can turn it under, put press-on hemming tape on it or fabric glue. You can do whatever you want to with the bottom of your fabric. But you pull your fabric out, you simply fluff this out for your bottom teardrop, and then you just fluff this out over the top of it. Now if you're using a lightweight thin material, here again you can push tissue paper or netting fabric inside your fluff right here, your balloon effect or your teardrop right here, and you can make it fuller and fluffier. You know those old newspapers that are laying around the house that we never know what to do with? This is something you can do. Now if you decide this is a beautiful little corner treatment for your window, and I'm going to hold this up where you can get a little bit better look at it, but we can take this same look and we can change it into a rosette. All we have to do is fan out the fabric, the full width of the material, pick up the sides, and simply bring it around to the top and pin it at the top. You never have to sew or cut your fabric. You just simply bring it around and pin it at the top, and you have a beautiful rosette at the corner of your window. Okay, I have another final treatment to show you here. Now remember, I'm going to tell you this is a final treatment that I'm going to show you, but you can create all the different looks that you want. Come up with a lot of new ideas, because a lot of the treatments that we've shown you weren't even ideas that we had in mind when we created the ladder, but they've since been brought to our mind by other people. So, you know, that's the neat part about the ladder, is that you can just create any kind of a look you want. All you do is push your fabric through the end of the ladder. Just make your loop again, but instead of fanning it out, instead of going down through the bottom one, we're just simply going to wrap the fabric around and come down through the top and pull it through. And pull that a little tighter. And you can fan that out as much as you want. And then what I do is just wrap the bottom part of that loop, bring your fabric around, and stick it back through the top of the loop. Now if you don't want any fabric hanging down, you can use a shorter, have a shorter length of fabric right here at the end and stick it through at the top, and you would just have a knot effect right here in the corner of your window without ever having any fabric hanging down. But if you want some fabric hanging down with the knot, then you can push the fabric, take the end of the fabric and push it all the way through and pull it down and let this hang any way you want. This is a great way to use your fabric and use your ladder in a boy's room, because they don't like a whole lot of fuss, but this gives you a little bit of design here on the corners of your window. So you can fluff this out, make a more pleated look and a tighter look right here for the knot in the corner of the window if you want fabric hanging down. There's different ways that you can do the knot on the corner of the ladder. So you can just work with your fabric, and here again your fabric, you're not cutting your fabric, you're not sewing your fabric, so you can do anything you want to it. And if you don't like the look, you just take it down and start all over again. So you can't make a mistake, okay? And then all you do is have a knot in the corner of your window. The 2 rows of loops, we haven't shown you that, but you do the bottom row the exact same way as you do the top row. You simply take a contrasting strip of fabric. We did this so you could still have more versatility, or you could also decorate for the holiday seasons. It's a great way to take your fabric. Your window treatment is already up. You have your fabric all the way across the top and down the sides. Then you can take a holiday fabric or a gold or silver, green or red lame, push it through the bottom, fan it in between like you see some of our other designs over here, and decorate for the holiday seasons. So that's when you use the bottom row of rings, is when you have a two-tone effect, when you're using two different fabrics. Also with the bows that we did and the knots that we do, you can take greenery at the holiday seasons and put those inside there and really add a little bit of extra to your windows. But you can also decorate for any season or any holiday with dried flowers, whatever. So you're your own decorator. Just have fun with the ladder. It's a great product, and it's a great way to decorate and save yourself a lot of money, and then go out and go shopping.